Good morning, students, and thank you for joining me on Make It Monday. Today we're going to be making some art that is all based on emotions. I know right now many of us have big emotions. I know I do. I'm feeling anxious, I'm feeling worried, sad, also in some ways happy that that I'm home, spending time with my family. So I am grateful for that. But there's a lot of negative emotions I'm feeling too. We're going to be making something called neurographic art. Now, neurographic art is a type of art that takes your negative emotions, like worry, anxiety, stress, fear, and it channels it into a positive art making experience. Now, the art making itself is very easy, it's very process based. So, what that means is there's a series of steps that you'll follow each time you make this type of art. There's no wrong way to do it. You just go with the flow, go with your feelings, and it's a great way to meditate and to get those feelings out onto paper. So let's go ahead and try it out. So here you can see a piece of neurographic art that I've created. Very simple to make, easy. Supply list, it doesn't take much. Basically you need paper, and you can even use just pencil for this, which will work just fine, but today I'm going to be using a permanent marker as well as a water-based colored markers, which I'm then going to dilute with water to give kind of a watercolor effect. For me, I like to listen to music when I'm doing this process, so anything that you really enjoy that kind of gives you joy or a sense of calm. Me, myself, I like to listen to chill hop or anything that's kind of like relaxing while I'm working. Go for it. There are no rules with this type of art. So we're going to go ahead and start out with just our blank piece of paper. And the first step in creating neurographic art is to go ahead and choose your challenge. So what is the challenge? What is the worry? What is the concern? What is the issue? This is personal for everybody, so you're going to make that your focus while you're drawing. This is a meditative process. So the second step, once you've chosen that, is to draw a doodle. So when you make a doodle, it's just a simple line that you create that goes all over your paper however you want to do it. There is no right, there is no wrong, just your feelings. Whatever feels like it's going to go well. You just do it as long as you want, as short as you want, but I myself like to fill up my space. That feels good to me. So once you have your doodle drawn, you're going to round all sharp corners. So what that means is places where you have X's, where you have intersections, where it's pointy. You're going to go back and you're going to curve it out. So all I'm doing is just filling that space in, but I'm going to do that on each side. So what's going to start to happen is I'm going to start to see kind of an intersection, kind of a knot that's forming there. And so I'm going to do that for each part of this drawing. Now, this is very time consuming, but this is where the meditative aspect of this type of drawing comes in, because it's not something that's meant to be quick. It's not something that's meant to be rush through. It's something that's meant to take time purposefully for you to gather your thoughts, express your feelings through what you're making. So just take your time. Don't worry about it looking perfect, anything like that. I know before we've talked about happy accidents, and just let it flow. So I'm going through, and I am going through each intersection and curving those intersections. And what you can see happening is that that's causing some of these line thicknesses to change, which automatically is going to create more contrast in your work. It's going to make it just more interesting looking, to go back and have this kind of heavy versus thin line inside your work. Now this work is very organic also. It's very freeform, so you're not going to see specific things that you're looking for in it. It's just going to kind of create itself. So I'm going to go ahead and fill a few more of these in. I'm not going to do the entire thing because, like I said, this is a very lengthy process, but I am going to go ahead and just fill in part of it just to give you an idea of what this can possibly look like. Okay, so we're just curving. It's building up some of those areas due to how it wound up. I think it looks interesting. Okay. So once you've gotten your edges curved and you've softened it up and you've got it all the way done, then you're going to move on to your next step, which is step 4, which is called integrating. Now with integrating, what you're doing is you're putting new pieces inside of, or you're adding to what you have here. And so there's a couple of different ways you can integrate. One way you can integrate is by integrating a figure into the background. What I mean by that is shapes. So maybe you want to add in an assortment of circles, or it could be hearts or diamonds. You're just going to overlap it onto what you already have, and it's going to become part of your design. Okay, so you can see here I'm just adding some circles in, and I'm primarily working on this end, but it could be anything. It could be a flower design, it could be your name, it could be a shoe design. I mean, it could really be anything that just speaks to you, because it's very personal. So once you have those shapes integrated, you can also choose to integrate color. Now when you color, you can leave it like it is, or you can color it with colored pencils, crayons, markers, paints, you name it. If it makes color, you can do it. Now I myself like to use water-based markers, because water-based markers, you can blend them with water to make a cool watercolor effect. So I can go in and just start to decide kind of the color schemes that I want inside of my pieces. So right now I'm doing like a pink and a yellow, which is going to give it kind of a sunset kind of glow in here. And right now I'm kind of aiming just for these circles that I've added, and I think probably as I move forward, once I get to the outside, I'm going to wind up going with more cool colors. But you don't really have to overthink it. You just kind of go with what you like and what you think looks good. And so I'm going to go ahead and switch off now from my warmer colors, and I'm going to move into using some blues and greens and just start to layer those inside in some different ways. Okay. Now, you don't have to color the entire piece. Even like some of the areas, you can keep them white, you can keep them black, you could add some dark areas inside. So I'm keeping to kind of this small area because this would take a long time to do the entire thing. But as I'm moving through, I've seen a couple of areas that I'd like to just keep black. So I'm actually going to go back and color in a few areas that I think would look interesting that are just going to stay dark. And like I said, this is yours. So however you want to do it, whatever you think looks interesting, go for it. Okay. So as I said, the beautiful thing about adding these areas here with the marker is that you can wet it. So if I have just a cup of water and a brush, even a Q-tip would work if you don't have brushes at home. You can take and just put some water to those, and you're going to get a nice blend from that marker inside that area. As always, don't forget to rinse your brush anytime you're switching to a new area or a new color, especially if you don't want this blue or green to blend in with your other colors, which I don't. If you want them to blend, don't rinse your brush. But if you want them to stay separate, give it a good rinse. Okay, so now that I'm filling in and I'm kind of blending this paint and adding this color to it, I already see it kind of come into life. I'm really liking this. Go ahead and make sure that it's fully dry before you move on to the next step, which is to add field lines, draw field lines. So field lines are additional lines that you're going to add on top of your piece that are very small. They may, kind of like little hairs is what they look like. So I'm just going to go back and I'm going to do some on this side, but your field lines will overlap somewhat, and they'll just be like some small little thin area lines that you're going to add into your design. And these can go anywhere that you want them to go. and you will not worry about the crossing of those. So when you're rounding those edges, the field lines you're not going to round. This is adding extra design to what you already have. Okay, so there's some of my field lines, and it's just adding a little more dimension to this. The last step, when you get to the very end, step 6, is to just simply reflect on how you feel. This is a process of creating art to meditate on a problem or worry that you have. So once you're finished, take a look at it. Do you like it this way? Does it look better this way? Do you like it this way? Are there hidden images inside of it? Hidden words, hidden animals, things that pop out to you? So please feel free. Take a video, send me a picture. I'd love to put some of your work up on our Lincoln Facebook page to see what our artists have been doing while we're at home. So please reach out to me. You can send your work to me at sarah.boster@evfck12.com. Remember, artists, to keep calm and keep creating. Have a great day.